It is The Riot. This is one of those podcasts where we talk about things and then we come back around and talk about them again.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not sure.
A couple things to show up this time is a woman that was getting airlifted out of something.
No, it wasn't a good thing what happened to her, but us coming back again with something else about it, I feel, did add to the story.
Okay, so we got that, and then the Tracy Morgan and the car accident shows up a couple of times in the podcast. Other things we hit, Dark Phoenix, ketchup, the ketchup thing you'll get, National Donut Day, SeaWorld, Mystery Science Theater 3000, that one's for me.
And I'm sure a few other people. You're not the only one. The more you talk about Mystery Science Theater, the more I think people become vocal about also liking it.
I love it.
So think of it as you leading an army of Mystery Science Theater people.
Sure.
To the theater.
You know, what I've noticed, too, is you guys may have noticed this. Anybody else notice that Nikki and I just keep talking longer and longer?
That normally happens after a fundraiser, but for some reason we just had a lot more to say recently. So you're welcome or we're sorry.
Well, it is a talk show, so I mean, if you guys need the music, you need to get.
Well, then they're not listening to the podcast at that point.
The podcast is the wrong place for you. So you guys enjoy the podcast. We'll talk at you later.
Don't forget to check out RadioU Riot. We've got a little bit more concerning the 74-year-old woman and the helicopter ride.
Oh, you got to see them.
That video is there if you want to follow us. And then just be aware, next week, we'll start talking about it soon, but we're doing our next Riot live event on our Facebook page, which is at RadioU.
1 week from today.
It is. No, 1 week tomorrow.
You're right. I keep thinking today's Thursday, which means Friday is going to be super disappointing for me.
It's going to be great. So that's coming up. We'll do a Riot Live gaming event where Opie and I are going to play a game together. You'll get more details soon, but you might as well go ahead and like our Facebook pages so you're ready to go.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy, and we'll see you later. Bye.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
Where you really need to spend your summer is going to Orlando. Now, the reason I say this, you're like, Disney World. I'm like, no, nobody can afford that. But what you might consider is the many lesser theme parks that are scattered. Orlando is the home of places to spend money.
Have you ever been to medieval times? Stuff like that? The Stampede?
The Titanic exhibit?
It's like all those dinner, lunch theaters with a show, small amusement parks, the off-Disney stuff.
Well, let's not forget SeaWorld.
Yeah, you're right.
There's nothing that says animal enslavement like $100, ticket.
I feel like it's just as expensive to go to SeaWorld as it probably is to go to one of the Disney stuff.
I've actually never been to SeaWorld.
You never? I used to go there a lot.
I used to stand outside and protest, but I've never been inside.
I was the one can I feed them, please?
Can I be the one?
Please. I used to love that place.
Well, I'll tell you that they've just announced that they're building a new roller coaster at SeaWorld that's going to be ice themed.
I know they've had a difficult several of years, so I think maybe they're transitioning more away from the problem areas.
You mean like enslaving animals for human entertainment?
That side?
Okay.
To more like traditional entertainment for amusement parks.
Actually,
who protests a roller coaster?
Now, no offense, Nikki, but I actually think that's backwards. I think enslaving animals is traditional entertainment.
Oh.
I think roller coasters really is a little more cutting edge.
You're right. A newer form of it.
I mean, because back in the day, they were like, look at the elephant walking in a circle. Welcome to the circus.
Now it's just us getting beat up on this roller coaster. It's fine.
It's fine. A lot of circles, though. So that's the big deal. What does it cost to go to SeaWorld?
Mike just texted. He knew ahead of time. He says for SeaWorld, the annual pass, he pays about $30 a month.
So that's $360 a year for the season pass. Let's see. SeaWorld 1 day admission. I spelled admission wrong.
It's fine. It knows.
See, this is the California one. Wrong.
Well, it's probably the same.
No. In Orlando, you've got the We're Not Disney tax.
The Orlando tax?
That you have to pay.
The Florida tax?
Yeah. It's why people are so crazy in Florida.
I think the whole state claims that one.
Okay, here we go. Tickets. If you buy in advance, you save. That's something. Single day park ticket. Oh my gosh, could we have some more pop-ups to make it more difficult to understand? Go away. If you were willing to, Oh, it's $85.
$85?
Yeah, it's $105 at the door. $85.
I'd be outside the door going online to find it. Like, I'm not paying there.
You know, the one thing they've got going that seems like a pretty good deal, $80 or $35 for an all-day dining plan.
You just go in and eat?
You can just eat. Okay, I have a friend of mine that lives outside an amusement park.
Yeah.
He bought I love this so much. He bought a season pass and their season dining pass, and he's like, dude, I go in there all the time just to eat. He's like, I save so much money just going in there to eat because.
But it's so expensive to eat at any of the amusement parks.
Not with the dining pass. It's quote unquote free. After he paid for it, he's like, I think he's got $150, maybe $200.
It's like a lunch pass sort of thing.
Yes.
Oh.
So parking is free. He goes in. He can eat at any restaurant in the park. I think you have to wait 2 hours before you can eat again, so he can take an afternoon.
Is that just a swimming thing? Or is that just the rule there?
And he's just like, yeah, man, I'm just eating. I just go in there and eat all the time.
It's a great idea, I guess.
Hey, okay, think about this. $200 and every restaurant within 15 miles of here, you can just go eat lunch every day.
$200 a month?
A year.
A year? Oh, yeah.
See, that's what he's doing.
Okay. Can you go on the rides, or can you only just eat?
Do whatever you want.
You do whatever you want.
He walks around naked eating. It's a free-for-all. Okay, not anything you want.
Okay, there are some rules that still apply.
Okay.
All right, well, there's a new roller coaster to SeaWorld in Orlando.
Yeah, so everybody get their money ready. I was going to say if you can't afford Disney, but it's the same price.
Pretty close to it.
The classic crime.
Everything in Orlando is around that price.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get like a cheap hotel room, though, and then they'll call you all day like, do you want to come down for our seminar? We'll give you free toys.
We'll come pick you up. We'll drive you to it.
What, don't you like your stay so much you would like to pay to come here every year? Please, no.
Do you have the time to share with us?
Oh, my gosh. I finally, the last time I was there, I was like, please stop calling. I'm not coming to anything. I don't care how much you offer. I'm not coming.
I'm not falling for it.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So.
Yes. The lady.
Guys, listen. I want you to know that as bad as you think things can get, they can always get a little worse. Just like, in fact, let's go ahead with a lot. So there's a woman in Arizona who she took a little fall at Piestewa Peak.
Yeah, she was in Arizona, and she needed to have a mountain rescue in the Phoenix area.
So they went ahead and they had to airlift her out.
She's 74 years old.
74 years old.
Keep that in context.
And it's hard for us to really explain. I think we're going to have to post the video so you can see it.
Well, you know the basket that they put you in if you're going to
airlift you out.
to be airlifted like a stretcher, but then you're all wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
They said that a line that is usually there to stop the basket from spinning when the helicopter airlifts you out to go take you to get help. The line for that broke right when they had taken off.
Mm-hmm. So she begins to spin, and it looks like her basket is attached to the blades on the helicopter.
It's that fast.
She is spinning so fast that just looking at it, you're like, oh, there's not a person in there.
I thought you could, like, you'd die if you spun that fast.
There couldn't
but
possibly be a person in there.
They said that she had no ill effect, but they said there was a little bit of dizziness and nausea after the rescue.
Do you think?
But you really do need to, you have to post it, because unless you see how fast this thing is spinning and how long it spins for that time, you're just not really getting it. We can't convey how bad it is.
It's insane. I'm going over to RadioU Riot on Facebook, and I'm going to post it there because I just want you to know things can get worse. You're like, man, I was hiking and I fell and like I think I may have hurt my neck bad.
Like, no, here comes the worst part.
I'm bleeding and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, you're here. Thank you. You're here to save me. Oh, gosh.
Stop spinning.
Oh, no.
And
put me back down. I'll crawl home.
You need to really look look at the movements of the helicopter after it starts spinning, because you'll notice it goes up and down a little bit, like they don't know what they're going to do.
They can't figure out what to do.
And then the guy's foot from the helicopter, I think he's like trying to slow the spin, or I don't know what he's doing, but you can just see movement where they're trying to figure it out. And eventually they don't do anything but just go up higher, and it slows down a little bit, but she is still spinning.
I mean, there you are. You're terrified of them taking you away in the helicopter, and you're like, you know what, Mom, it's going to be fine. These people know what they're doing. You don't have anything to worry about. They're going to take care of you. Finally, everything's going to be okay. And there's your little grandma. She's scared.
74 years old.
She's scared, but she's hurt, and she has to trust these people.
She's being brave. I would have thought that you'd spin right on off the thing. Like, I know they have you in, but I would have thought the whole thing would have completely broke.
Oh, my gosh.
So we'll post it at RadioU Riot so that you can watch the video. And I've had a couple people ask us to email or message them the link back. So we'll send it to you, too, if you just text us.
Sure. If you need it, you know where we are.
Because it's important that you watch this morning.
I'm telling you, man.
It'll put your day in a better place.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, at the very least, this hasn't happened yet.
So if you want to text us, 877-2-RADIO-U. Otherwise, it's getting posted at RadioU Riot, which is our Facebook page, which you should be following anyways.
Uncomfortable silences during that morning carpool? Not a problem. These two never shut up. It's the Riot on Radio U.
I'm really proud of us because, Nikki, a lot of times I feel like you and I are chasing it. We're behind it. And today, we're in front of it.
Is there a holiday today?
No, not today. Boom.
Tomorrow?
It's 2 days from now, which gives us time to practice the planning.
All right. So what's going on?
Here's what I got. This Friday, June 7th, is National Donut Day.
Hey! Now, that is one of those days where I feel like there's several of them throughout the year.
Wait, I don't feel like I really got it. This Friday is National Donut Day.
Yay!
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. It's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. There's going to be a lot of free donut stuff out there. Okay. All right.
Thank you guys for coming in and doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have some free donut options for you. In fact, it looks like so many people
It's the same thing every year.
Okay. What do you think?
Krispy Kreme's probably like, here, have a dozen.
Nope. Nikki, who can afford a dozen?
Have a donut. You get one.
You get a free donut, any variety.
They always do the free one. Dunkin' Donuts is always like, yes, but you must buy something, and then you get the free donut. That's what they always do.
Dunkin' Donuts is free classic donut with purchase of beverage.
That's
tradition.
You have
to buy something to drink.
Because they want you to buy one of their coffees or something.
And I love how it's classic donut. So if you think you're getting something fancy, no. You're getting some...
Classic means they didn't have any of the stuff, so it's just a plain donut.
Back in the day, you were excited that you had something that was like was anything other than gruel.
Well, why would you want more when you have a fancy drink that you must buy first?
Duck Donuts is offering a free bear cinnamon. No, and just Nikki,
it's not we bear. No, I know it also means classic.
B-A-R-E.
It's another word for plain, classic, dry.
They might as well say diet donut, right? Cinnamon sugar or powdered sugar
Still,
donut.
It's something.
Yeah. Let's see. Lamar's Donuts. I have not seen those, but they're out there. You get a free donut. And Stan's Donut offering a free donut with any purchase.
Sure, sounds great.
I want you guys to know that I'm going to keep my eyes.
Are you going to get something on the way in for Friday? Or?
Well, I thought you were doing that.
Well, I think you drive past more places. I don't drive past any place.
I don't either.
Well, then why don't we assign someone else who comes in later than us to bring in some donuts?
Well, I definitely like the idea of shirking responsibility and leaning on someone else.
Bringing someone in to help us celebrate with it. It's not, responsibilities.
We should have Chris do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Chris, he doesn't come in until later when there's a lot of traffic. And that way he can have difficulty parking, have to wait in a long line.
Because you need to go earlier, I would guess.
Bring in the donuts.
Yeah, that sounds like a perfect plan.
Fantastic.
Well, that's Friday. If
I'll let you tell him
to plan accordingly. Well, I'll send an email from the show.
I don't think we can actually email from that account.
Yes, Ryan at RadioU.com.
We can receive email.
We can. We can somehow do it.
Okay.
I'll text him from that.
Great.
So Friday, if anybody else is going to celebrate with a classic or plain donut, then Friday's your day.
Hey, in fairness, if we hit the place we really like down the street, I can go with just a straight glazed donut from them.
I know, but I like a little cream, a little icing on it.
Some people say a glazed donut is plain. I just want you to know that these free donuts, when they say plain, there's not even a glaze. Okay.
They hope some of the cinnamon sugar sticks to it when it comes out of the oven.
Maybe.
So that's all you're getting.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
If you were to come into the studio right now, be like, what is the Riot looking at? What is so important? Well, we blame, what was Manny. Manny goes to this place each morning, so we're looking up what donuts they have, and we're just scrolling through the the pictures of all the donuts.
Well,
they look so delicious.
Well, I think we can say, if you're a RadioU Columbus listener, it's Destination Donuts, and they do look fantastic. And I found out they deliver to somewhere not far from us.
We could do that Friday.
Might be worth checking out. They have good coffee there, too, so that might be a thing. But, yeah, man, come on. Guys, I like donuts, okay?
No. I don't know if people have caught that.
No, the thing is, I think I project that I eat donuts a few times a day.
Well, you do that and you play video games. It seems like that's all you do.
Drink coffee, eat donuts, play video games. No, I love donuts, but they are somewhat of a rarity. Now, coffee, on the other hand, that's an everyday food.
But for donuts, you are a supporter of finding a more local and
local
even if
donuts, man.
Even if they have more than one location, it just means it's not a nationwide chain where, they were made a few days ago, they thaw them out and then they put them on out. More of a homemade approach.
I do. I love it. And they don't even have to be, and I know, like this Destination Donuts we're looking at, they very much have that boutique donut kind of feel. Sometimes just finding an old mom and pop place when they're dropping, they've been at it for 40 years, they've never changed the grease, whatever, like a place like that, and you're just like, you know what,
that's what we're looking for.
It's good to be here.
So anybody have any other good donut places, text whatever the name is, because Friday is
National Donut Day. So
text at 8772 RadioU. We like you. What is the one you always go on vacation, the donut fryer?
Yeah, dude, in Tennessee. That's so good. The thing that always gets me about the donut fryer every time I go there is that they have this donut they make that is, it's basically a donut sandwich, and the bread is donuts, and where you would put like your meat or peanut butter or something on a sandwich, those are the only two kind of sandwiches I eat, they have icing so that it covers the entire donut. The entire donut. It's got a chocolate layer on top, and then they actually draw a smiley face in icing. And
that'll work. And then
it's like a prophecy because you know it's happening.
We like Top Pot donuts. Those are really good too.
Yeah, come on. Destination Donuts has one with potato sticks on top.
Potato fries? Or
I don't know, but let's see. Keith says there's a place in Mount Gilead, Ohio, 8 Sisters Bakery. He says it's really good stuff.
It's got to be close enough to us.
I believe in donuts, Nikki.
Isn't it nice just to talk about them?
I like talking about them.
It's like when we talk about chicken fingers or chicken wings. Now we're talking about these. It's our favorite things.
I've noticed there is a theme, and you're like, chicken fingers aren't donuts. No, but they're all fried.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like we can all really talk about them.
We sure can.
Oh, it's just wonderful.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on RadioU.
So yesterday, we talked about the Apple press conference that happened on Monday. A lot of people did. And we went through, some of the details. They did some stuff with iTunes, like destroyed it.
It's very ominous. Not really.
They renamed it.
Well,
they split it apart.
No one was shocked about, though. Everybody's been waiting for them to do that for years.
Nikki, that's fine. If that's the attitude you want to have.
I feel like it was very dramatic because everybody expected it.
I feel right there. Like when I die, Nikki's going to be like, you know what? There'd been rumors of his death for years.
It's It's fine.
It's no big deal.
No.
We'll get somebody else.
Listen, we'll make a bigger deal of that when that happens.
It's no big deal, guys. But in the middle of all of this, something I missed that the internet did a great job letting me know about yesterday was the Apple monitor stand.
Yeah, did you see how much this thing was?
Holy
First off, it's for
crap.
like the $6,000 Mac, which needs like a $1,000 monitor, and then it has to have this stand.
No, the monitor is $5,000.
Oh, that's right. Boy, I was really shortchanging that, wasn't I?
I just want you to know.
Someone's like, I'm ordering this.
Here's the thing. I thought there is this one monitor that I just love. I see it all the time. I can't remember the brand now, of course, but it's like a 32-inch, like it's a very high-end monitor, and I see it go from between $750 and $1,000. And every time I look at it, I'm like, man, it's so cool, but how could I possibly justify that purchase?
Now you can.
And Apple's like, oh, we'll make that look cheap.
All right, so let's go back again. You've got the $6,000 computer. You're right. The $5,000 monitor. And then what would you put that monitor on? People are now making sure everyone actually caught that the stand that Apple has that you would have to buy to go with this doesn't come with it.
It does not.
$999 just for the stand.
It's $1,000 for the monitor stand. Mm-hmm. It's just the thing.
Why wouldn't it come with it?
Why?
Why wouldn't it come with it?
Why not?
I don't understand.
Do you buy any computer monitor now where they're like, the stand's going to cost you a little extra?
I feel like it's a trap. It's bad.
I mean, in fairness, this is like, I know this is a thing because my dad bought a truck a few years ago, and it's like, they'll charge you extra for the bumper. It's like, well, what kind of bumper do you want? It's going to be extra. That seems absurd, but I kind of get it. This, to me, is the single dumbest thing I have ever heard in tech news, where they're like, yeah, we'll sell you the monitor, but that'll
cost you
that
extra.
Stand is going to cost you.
So today and yesterday seems to be people who are just making sure everybody realized how dumb that was.
I didn't catch it.
It's the Apple Mac Pro, which is the $6,000 computer, the Pro XDR display, which is the $5,000 monitor, and this is called the Pro's display stand, which is, again, the $1,000.
Okay, if you don't...
What a trip to the store if you bought all that.
If you don't buy that stand...
You could hire someone just to hold it for you at a lesser price.
Oh, yeah.
I mean you could find something.
You just go to Fiverr. You're like, hey, hold my monitor for an hour.
I mean, it does, like, it turns it and blah, blah, blah. I guess they're trying to make it seem like it's worth it, but I'm sure someone will come up with some sort of cheaper stand, a knockoff one.
I didn't watch the press conference, but apparently the crowd did not, had been super enthusiastic and all of a sudden was like, whoa, what?
I'm sorry, too. Like, why? How are you enthusiastic, too, about it? This is a very expensive setup. This is not for you to buy. Like, you have to have an employer that buys this one.
Or you are an employer.
This is more for, like, they were talking a lot of times the entertainment industry. I don't know, just not our jobs. We're not getting it.
Again, the thing that kills me is the monitor that I have held aloft as far too expensive and far beyond what I would be willing to pay is cheaper than the stand. The stand.
Maybe you should come right back on to maybe looking at getting the other monitor then.
Well,
that'd be a cheaper option.
Well, you know what? All this comes down to is I remember a time when $200 seemed like a lot for a phone, but thanks to Apple and Samsung, the $200 I spent on this phone I'm holding felt like a deal. I was like, man, I managed to get this for only $150.
Thank you, companies, for bringing out some very expensive stuff. Makes what we buy then a lot better.
You guys are the best.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
It just never stops, really. There's Nikki all the time over there trying to find the grossest thing she can find on the internet.
I want to share with you. If I look at it, I want you to have to experience it too.
Nikki sends me a video from a woman in Vietnam. Her name not disclosed. She went to the doctor saying she had a really bad earache. And what do you think it was?
There's a little spider in the ear, and you can watch the video as the doctor tries to get it. It looks very cute when you're just looking in on the camera. But it's a little fuzzy spider, and it was causing her all these problems, so the guy has to get it out.
And how does he lure it out?
I don't know, but it follows the light, and it gets up close enough, and so then he reaches in and grabs it. Did you see at the end, though? It grabs and kind of hops out of her ear, goes onto the floor, and someone just steps on it.
Yep.
Like, bye, spider.
That's what I would want done.
Well, it's just funny after all this to go to all that effort to get it out, and you just end up stepping on the spider.
And then, feeling that is perhaps not enough, maybe the baby spider in your ear didn't terrify you enough. Here is another photo that Nikki would like me to see.
This one's worse.
About a man whose, and I quote, finger swells up like a blood balloon.
It's a blood balloon.
That was bitten by a baby rattlesnake.
Did you see how big it got? And then it turned basically like a really bad color.
I didn't know if I wanted to scroll down because at the top here it says warning, graphic content.
No, you need to scroll down just to see. I mean, I've never seen a finger swollen that big.
Okay, is it weird that I guess after we talked about it, I'm like, oh, it's not. Oh, gosh!
You went too far enough. That's why I gave it to him. That's why I sent him the story. Black.
It's not that bad.
It is.
Keep scrolling.
Keep going. Even worse is when it shows it deflated and it's like all that extra skin from it being so swollen. But they thought that he was maybe going to have his finger amputated, but I think it's okay. They drained it out.
It'll probably take 6 to 8 months for it to heal, but he's okay. See? That's why snakes are bad. I will tell you, the last time I was in Tennessee eating donuts, I really wanted to go into Smoky Mountain National Park. There's beautiful, like hiking and all this kind of stuff there. And then I had some friends that sent me pictures of the rattlesnakes they saw while they were in there. And they were like, look, it's a mommy and its babies. And I was like, and I never want to go there.
Just can't handle it.
And that's fine.
So for this guy, about 2 weeks after, the skin began peeling.
Of course it did.
It got worse and worse, the blister. And then finally that went down, but the skin kept coming off. And he said it was throbbing, like you could feel the heartbeat in it as it would throb all the time, but he's still recovering.
Well, so, I'm glad he gets to keep his finger.
Spider in the ear or rattlesnake with the finger. What do you go with?
You know what? I'll take nothing for $1,000, Alex.
I don't want to do any of that. They're just letting people know if you're in the woods in that area, you want to make sure to change your mindset and make sure you
mindset. What does that even mean?
Make sure you take rattlesnake bites seriously, because I guess he wasn't as worried in the beginning, and it just got worse and worse and worse.
No.
So just be aware.
I find like a little garter snake, it bites me. I'm like, shut it. I'm putting a tourniquet on it, and I'm going straight to the emergency room.
We're going now.
Look, fix it. I don't know what. Was it bad? I don't know.
The Riot is to your ears what all those energy drinks are to your liver.
For the love of God, please stop. I can only process so much. Oh.
The Riot, RadioU.
You're about to hear a little poor people envy come out right here. Technically, it's probably rich people envy, but as the poor, I'm envying the rich.
Well, we earlier talked about, the $6,000 Mac.
The $5,000 Mac monitor.
The monitor and the $1,000 stand. Like we talked, it was a little envious of the fact that we're not spending that much money on a new setup. But this is even more money than that.
This is crazy. Tracy Morgan, who for me... 30 Rock. He's done tons of stuff other than that, but
mostly Saturday Night Live too.
Saturday Night Live, like that's what I remember him for. But it was 5 years ago. He was in a really bad car accident and sued Walmart and made big money because I think it was a Walmart truck.
Semi.
Yeah, like I don't have all the details in front of me, but I just remember it being a big deal. He won that lawsuit, and it was
He was lucky to be alive too, because I think it took some time for him to recover.
Oh no, it absolutely did. It was a really big deal. So he's in the news again for car related stuff. Yesterday he bought a $2 million Bugatti. That is, if you don't know what a Bugatti is, that's a handmade car. Like there are no assembly lines. It's like a guy.
If there was a car like a sport, I would want to to drive, that'd be it.
You know what? I don't even think I do want to because...
Get you nervous?
Yeah, I think so because I would have to start with something that comes off a line.
Sure.
And I always go back to like a Porsche or something like that where it's like, okay, this is an expensive car, but if you screw it up, we just get another one.
Well, anytime on Top Gear or the Grand Tour, a Bugatti will be on it. It's an amazing looking car.
They're crazy.
but it's not, okay, we have everyday cars, you know, like us, the everyday person. And then there's like sports cars or there's the fancy cars.
It's not even any of those.
It's keep going and it's many levels above. Like, how do you insure this car? What do you do with it? How do you even drive this thing? Let alone in New York City where he was driving it and then someone had accidentally swiped to the side of it.
Did you see what kind of car hit him? And to be clear, in New York City, I'm not even sure someone hit him. I think it would be very easy for two people to be driving in completely different lanes and still hit each other.
If you've never been to New York, what's very common because there's so much traffic, it's just so crazy, is like on the back of your cars, you put these bumper guards and then on the sides because everybody bumps each other.
It happens a lot.
You don't stop if someone bumps you.
Yeah,
you know, like if you're
a thing.
driving, it just bumps the thing that you put, protects your car, or it's just not worth the effort because, again, with all the traffic and stuff, but you're also not in a $2 million car. But he said he got hit by something.
A CRV.
Oh, no.
Do you know what a CRV costs, like fully loaded? Like, I'm talking like top of the line, it's maybe $30,000, maybe. But like the low end ones, I think are 19 or 20, maybe a little above that.
It didn't seem like a huge amount of damage or anything.
Nikki, listen.
But if there's any damage.
If you sneezed on a Bugatti, that's $250,000 to
right
fix
there.
it.
I don't know, whatever his insurance thing is.
I just can't imagine why anyone in their right mind
would drive
a Bugatti in New York. I'd be like, you have to deliver it to the woods out somewhere in a field. Like, I am not driving it off the lot.
They sit in garages for a reason.
Yeah.
And that would be one of them.
It's nuts.
So they said that he went to the hospital just for a double check, but he seemed fine.
Yeah, because, hey, Tracy, I'm just going to let you know, the guy that may or may not have hit you, he's driving a CRV. One, his insurance will never begin to cover what's going on with your car. And two, you could sue him into oblivion. He's still not going to be able to pay for any damage, like any significant amount for damage to that car.
I didn't feel like we could look at that car. Peter texted, have you ever seen what it costs to replace the tires on a Bugatti? Peter, do you know the cost? I don't even want to. Like, it's probably more than everybody's cars who's just listening.
I probably, in 20 years of work, couldn't replace the tires on a Bugatti.
If I had to guess, is it like $5,000 a tire or something?
I think that's
$10,000.
I'd say $5,000's low.
We'll have to look it up to see.
I'll bet you're into. It's a lot. It's a CRV. I don't know if he means that's $30,000 to replace.
To replace each tire. How much is a Bugatti tire replacement? Let's see. An annual service will set you back $20,000. A fresh set of tires will cost you $30,000 to $42,000 and needs to be replaced every 2,500 miles.
2,500. 2,500. Us, like.
That's more than the cars. That's more than everybody's cars.
I want you to know that I bought
$30,000 to $42,000.
Speaking of Walmart, I bought tires at Walmart.
Yeah.
They were discontinued tires, 60,000 mile tires. I paid $120 for the set because they were on clearance.
Nice. It gets worse. They say basically in a Bugatti, the tires are glued onto the wheel rims. So every 3 tire changes, you also must get new rims for them too.
I'm done. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Oh, you couldn't even afford an oil. You couldn't even afford the oil, let alone an oil change.
Wow.
It's not our car for us.
It's
okay?
not an everyday car, Nikki.
They even make morning people want to reach for the snooze button. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
If you guys haven't been keeping score, and I just assume you hang on every single word that comes out of my mouth, memorizing each day's podcast, so to be ready for the next day.
It might just be you never know when a test will pop up. You want to know all the details.
Right. But I am aware of the fact that some of you, are new to the show because we're getting new people every single day.
Which, welcome. We're sorry, but welcome.
We're so glad to have you here. So with all of that, I want you to know I'm a huge fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
You are. You like it a lot.
I have grown to really like it. I have watched it. It's on Netflix. There are 2 seasons there, which the first one is 8 or 10 episodes. The second one is 5, I believe. But it has a long history of riffing. So they've gone through 3 hosts. I love the first one. I'm not as hot on the second one. And
Third
I like
one?
Joel, not Joel, but
Not Joel, the other one?
No, the new guy. I can't believe now. What a huge fan I am.
Someone will tell you. Anybody remember the new host?
I can't believe I'm just blanking. I can see his face. I can hear the robots saying his name, and yet I can't get it out.
Let's see. Is it Jonah?
Jonah, yeah.
Jonah Ray?
Yeah, Jonah Ray. So they are going on tour again this year. I just found out. They announced it a day or 2 ago, and I think I'm going to have to go again. I had so much fun at the live show.
Because I want people to catch. He's already been.
Yes, I went last year. I went last October. I drove almost 3 hours
to go to
2.5 hours to go to it, and it's going to be in my hometown this time.
So this is the show where it's like the couple of robots that sit in front of the screen watching an old movie as they riff about it and they talk about it. So that's what the show is.
I've gotten to the point where it's hard for me to just watch regular shows because I need somebody to be talking about the show while I watch
During it, while you can watch. So when you actually go see it live, is it the creators then or the writers or who's doing it? The voicing guys? Or
they, like, when I went on the tour last year, they had different people voicing the robots, I think. But
you're still watching a movie with them?
They had Jonah and Joel, and yes, you're actually watching them live riff a movie. I'm sure it's nearly the same script every night. And what they'll do is they have rotating movies. And so one night they'll have a movie, the next night it'll be a different one, the next night they'll be back to the first one. And I know in some locations they'll do 2 shows, or where you can see both movies, but I don't think that's going to be the case where we live.
So you can go see it again?
I think so.
Well,
I don't think I cannot. Joel says it's his last year touring, but we've heard.
Everybody always says that. How much are tickets for that sort of stuff?
I don't know yet. I was trying to find them and I couldn't. So I was thinking about just going ahead and going down to the box office and being like, hey,
how much is this going to cost me?
I think last year I bought their cheapest VIP tickets, which just got you like good seats basically. And I want to say I paid $50 a ticket for that. And then I came away with like a poster, a tote bag, which I think is probably the single dumbest, is the dumbest piece of swag you can get.
Well, remember you bought the Mystery Science Theater doormat, didn't you?
I did, but I don't have it yet.
Oh, it's not in yet?
Yeah. Okay, wouldn't you rather have a doormat than a tote bag?
No, I'd rather have a tote bag than a doormat.
I don't use a tote. Like, that tote bag is sitting just...
Come on, you're supposed to take it when you go shopping. Go to the grocery store.
No, it's not big enough for that.
Just for the little things. Your produce. Your produce needs a bag.
My produce and my makeup.
Yeah, that's what you put it in.
Put it all in there.
It's more functional.
Okay, sure.
Right,
when you say it good. Like that, it makes a lot of sense.
It does. Well, that's good that you're going to go again.
Yeah. So they announced the tour. I got to get some details. I don't know if anybody else is in on it, but
you guys want to get a block of seats?
We should.
And you can all sit together. How fun would that be?
Well, I'm getting a block of seats, me and a friend. Trying to con one person into going.
Yes, have fun with that. That's not me. What? The one person, I didn't want people to
it's fine.
think that was me.
I hadn't asked yet, but I guess I won't need to
Remember,
now.
it's like the president and the vice president. We're not supposed to be in the same area too long, too much in case something happens. How will the show continue?
Well, I thought we might make an exception, for special times, but it's fine.
The only morning show brave enough to say that Chicken McNuggets are part of a balanced breakfast. The Riot on RadioU.
I don't know about you, but I just don't feel like there's enough Jurassic World in my life,
Oh, you're missing it.
It's like I go home every night and I watch both movies. Sometimes for variety, I throw in a Jurassic Park movie. And then every once in a while, even though it's not the same, but it was an obvious ripoff, sometimes I'll throw in that 98 Godzilla film just because,
Kind of makes you feel like that.
Just variety, But it's like, it's really hard after you read the fan fiction and you've gone through all the novels multiple times and you keep going through the comics. And I get it, which is why I'm so excited about what Netflix has announced. Camp Cretaceous.
What is that?
Well, it's a new animated series that's coming from Netflix and Steven Spielberg, and it's going to be, in the Jurassic World.
It'll fix that itch that you have.
Yeah, for new Jurassic content, which is hard to come by.
When you just said Camp Cretaceous, I thought, is it not but it's officially Jurassic World. Okay, so it's actually officially something with it.
Oh, it's a thing, Nikki.
It is. I see the trailer.
Let me give you a quote directly from the Netflix family Twitter account. Hold on to your butts, which is funny because kids think butts are funny and because it's a quote from Jurassic Park.
Okay, so do you see how that works?
How genius is that tweet?
Woo!
Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous is coming in 2020. The animated series, set at the same time as the 2015 film, follows a group of teens at a new adventure camp where absolutely nothing goes wrong. Just kidding, dinosaurs.
So this will be in 2020, so next year.
Yeah, it's a long time to wait and keep watching Jurassic World again.
It'll be fine. It'll be great.
I'm having a great time.
So for Jurassic World, did the other one, the second one with Chris Pratt, did that do well enough where they're going to keep doing more? Or
I thought the third one was already going to be a thing.
I wasn't sure.
Wait, Jurassic?
Because I feel like the second one just did not do as well or was not as appreciated as the first one.
Okay, it looks like that is scheduled to come out June 11th, 2021.
Okay, well, look, you get this show then next year. Granted, it might not be exactly written for you. It just depends on who their target is. And then in 21, you'll get the other Jurassic movie.
I really, really did not like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the second one. Jurassic World, I was iffy on until I saw it a second time. And I was like, you know what?
It was fine.
I liked it a lot better the second time. But Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I felt like it was so bad, I couldn't even think about watching it a second time.
Except the part of the dog.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my gosh, it still bothers me. Such a looking dinosaur. Still that part.
They just left him there.
I will never forgive them for that.
Just left him.
I will never forgive him because that was a lot to watch and it still hurts. So I'm not able to just glance over that.
The hurt's too much. I can't go back.
It is, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, we don't have to. But you know what? I'm sure they're going to redeem themselves with Camp Cretaceous.
Jurassic World Season 1 on Netflix next year.
Definitely not canceling Netflix now.
Keeping it forever.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot. On RadioU.
Guys, it's not funny. It's not, but it's hilarious.
Well, when you see it, it's really hard to not laugh at it, and I know that makes us bad.
No, here's the problem. Is this actually, I feel like this is an excellent story for you to get a real peek into how the riot works. If you've ever heard that saying that life up close is a tragedy, but at a distance, it's a comedy. This is a perfect example. There's a woman. She's 74 years old. She hurts herself out hiking in Arizona. They bring in a helicopter to airlift her out.
To take her to go get help because she had hurt her leg, and I think she had something with her face.
She is encased in that little sarcophagus that they use to transport you out.
We learned the term. It's called a litter.
It's litter.
It's a
basket, basically.
But you're all wrapped up.
And it's a stretcher.
Like a camping bag. Like a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And then you're all wrapped up, and then they lift you into the helicopter in it as it takes off.
And so there is this rope or this line or whatever that's supposed to keep it stable, but instead
it broke.
It broke, and she's just spinning so fast. And
you see the helicopters going up and down, should we land? What do we do? How do we fix this? Because she's 74. I thought she would have died with that, but they said she was fine, just a little dizzy and nauseous. But
how could she be dizzy?
Nothing.
I don't understand.
They were really downplaying how she was affected by that.
So if you want the news story, you can find it on our Facebook page, RadioU Riot. However,
because the video's there.
If you want something that's way better than that, you just need to follow @RadioU on Twitter, because I have tweeted the remix someone has put out of this lady spinning to the song "You Spin Me Right Round," and I want you to know that
it works.
We're all terrible people, but man, I laughed really hard at that.
Carl, who listens, he posted on Facebook. He was saddened to see that we didn't post a video with that song like mixed with it, and we said, "Oh, I'm sure someone will do that on YouTube," and it's there, so we found it.
There it is. Hilarious.
Well, hopefully everybody else agrees. I mean, we're just glad we only can laugh because she's okay.
Right.
If she wasn't okay, we wouldn't do that.
I mean, if she was hurt or injured,
I'm amazed.
We would be laughing but not telling you about it.
I just can't imagine. Again, she was basically unharmed from that.
Hey, can you imagine a place in your life where you're less vulnerable when you're injured and you're hanging underneath a helicopter?
In the basket that won't stop spinning?
I mean, I'll tell you.
Again, we just if you want to see the video, it's fine.
I'm sure it can get worse.
It can, but that's pretty bad.
Wait for the day. It's not funny, guys. Stop it. I want you to stop laughing.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on RadioU.
All right, Nikki. This Friday, I know you're getting excited. We're all really pumped about.
We talked about earlier was National Donut Day on Friday. Is that what you're mentioning?
That's not what I was thinking about, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
There's something else?
Oh, yeah. This Friday, XMen Dark Phoenix.
Oh, is that the one that's been like waiting for years to come out?
Well, okay. Fox had the New Mutants, which was like done, and it's still not out, and they think they're going to release it like in 2 years.
Oh, so that's a different one than this?
That's a different one. This one was supposed to be out at Valentine's Day, and then it was supposed to be out some other time, and like I think it's been moved twice, and now it's coming out in June, and their hope is that you've forgotten about how good Avengers was, and that, Godzilla hasn't really done all that well. It's done fine, but...
John Wick, for some even had Aladdin. Like, it's been a busy couple of weeks for movies.
I've seen Avengers, John Wick, Aladdin, and Godzilla.
You saw them all.
I've seen all of them. And I will probably go see Dark Phoenix next week. I'm not going this weekend because I'm doing something else. But Dark Phoenix right now on Rotten Tomatoes.
Are we finding its tomato score?
The reviews are out.
I don't know why everybody goes back to tomato scores now. It seems like that has had a resurgence of like what we actually go by.
I just think it comes down to it's a good aggregate. You look at all of these different people, and I think even though a lot of people don't like it, and to be clear, there are plenty of movies that I love that have terrible Rotten Tomato scores. But this particular one, I feel like there's truth here. It's at 17%.
Whoa, that is low.
Low.
That's very
low.
I'm sorry, it's an X-Men one?
Uh-huh. I think it's the last X-Men movie we'll ever...
don't say that.
Not ever.
You'll just be for a while.
It will be rebooted into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This iteration of X-Men is done.
I feel like X-Men need X-Men and some other more prominent Marvel superhero attached to it somehow.
To be clear, I think X-Men on its own could be great, but they just... you know what? I feel like every time they trot out the Dark Phoenix thing, they're like, well, we're almost done, so we'll do that story. That is the story that everybody knows from X-Men. It is their most famous storyline. So let's do it again.
Could be with Marvel throwing at us, in game and all these very epic, all the superheroes in it. Some of the older style stuff, which X-Men kind of seems like, it's just not enough. It's not enough pizzazz to it or something. Like, you just need more.
The other thing that's crazy is, like, look at the cast for this, okay? You've got Jessica Chastain. You've got, and now I'm totally, Jennifer Lawrence. You've got, Magneto. And what are these guys' names? I can't remember. Let's see. Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy. And, like, that's a great cast.
Yeah, but they're not.
Then you've got Sophie Turner, who, whether you like her or not, everybody's like, she was in Game of Thrones.
But I still feel, as far as most of those people are concerned, they're not still like blockbuster people on
Maybe
their
not,
own.
but I think they're great performers. How's that sound? Like, I think they've done great movies, even if they're not pulling in the big bucks these days.
Maybe they haven't all done great movies.
Maybe
this
they
one is
haven't.
not getting a good score.
Maybe they haven't. I think it looks terrible. I'm going to go see it.
Well, that's his official review.
Well, that's my official preview. I haven't seen it, but I think it looks really bad.
If anybody sees it this weekend, do us a favor and let us know, but you'll go later.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'm probably going to go Monday or Tuesday next week. I try to squeeze it in there somewhere because I mean, as a completionist and as a Stubbs A-list member, I'm paying for it.
So you
I might as well use it.
Might as well go see it. Well, what is it? The Secret Life of Pets 2 is also out this weekend. So,
well, would you like to know its tomato score, Nikki?
I have a feeling it will make more money than the XMen
Dark
one.
Phoenix, you
Yeah,
think?
Probably.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty confident saying
Actually,
that.
yeah, it totally will. Secret Life of Pets 2 currently at 61% on Rotten Tomatoes, which
Yay.
means it's certified fresh.
I'm going to see that on Saturday. I'll go
Are
ahead
you?
and tell you guys that. I don't mind. I liked the first one.
Okay, I guess I just need to ask, is there anybody right now listening that is surprised that Nikki would want to see Secret Life of Pets 2?
I don't think anybody is.
Does that shock anyone?
Now, I
'Cause
still
it
want to
doesn't
see.
shock me.
I still want to see Godzilla. I also want to see that, but I just don't have enough time to see 2 movies on Saturday or this weekend. So I'll see that in a future date.
Sure, that's true.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
What's the maddest you think you've ever been at somebody? You don't have to use names.
It's not you. I'm sure I've been more mad at somebody else.
Oh, no, I know it's not me. You've never been mad at me before.
Never, ever, ever.
No, it's fine. How can you be mad at perfection? Just angry because you can't achieve it? I get it.
I'd be mad more at myself.
Yes.
Not from what you've done, but
Yeah.
because of how I can't handle it.
You would be lashing out at me, but it would be your own imperfection
It's my
that was
own
bothering
fault.
you. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I got a couple examples in my head. I'm not
Okay.
going to share them, but
Right. No, I wouldn't. Did you ever throw anything
yeah, I probably have.
at the person?
No,
Never?
but probably just out
Like at the wall or
Out of the
something?
wall, yeah.
Okay, right. Never, maybe spilled something on them intentionally, poured like a
No.
cup on them.
Like if you're watching someone fight and they slapped each other and then they
Yeah.
toss the
Yeah,
drink
they
at
throw
them.
the drink in their
no,
face.
I've never done that.
That'd be kind of awesome, actually. Somebody throws a drink in your face and you're like,
Oh yeah. I think what happens is if I'm really in an intense situation where I'm really, really mad at someone, I go the other way and I get really upset and I just kind of really back off. But I'm so angry, but I just back off because I just can't be around it.
because otherwise.
Otherwise, I'd be afraid what would happen.
Yeah. Well, we've got a man in Florida here who's facing charges of domestic battery. His name's Peter. His girlfriend, being the victim, is not named. And so when you find out what she was a victim of, this is where it gets weird. He says that she's been cheating on him, and he's really angry with her. So at about 4:45 a.m. on Sunday morning, which, given what's about to happen, I feel like this was not his Sunday morning, but was actually his Saturday night.
He was still up. I get
think
what
he
you're
was
saying.
I think
get
he
it.
was still up.
It's not like they were waking up and then fighting.
Yeah. And so she woke up to find that he had been pouring ketchup all over her.
Isn't that weird?
What?
Maybe she hated ketchup. Maybe that was like a very personal insult to her.
Yeah.
Whereas you love ketchup.
I know. I would just the thing that would upset me was that we're wasting the ketchup.
Or if not, it's like it's a miracle. It's coming down from heaven.
Like, listen, it's fine. This is not an insult, but like this is a real waste.
And we hate to see that. You're scraping it off your body to put it back in.
Trying to put it back in the
But
jar.
like maybe she totally hates ketchup and he knows that.
And he was pouring ketchup on her, screaming, "That's what you get."
Is it supposed to make her think maybe he cut her or something and it was like blood?
Well, see, that was my first thought, is like you wake her up and you're like, "Oh my gosh, you're bleeding!"
So then, yeah, you're afraid something happened to you, but really it's just ketchup. And you know it's ketchup. It smells like ketchup. It looks like ketchup.
I love this. She's covered in ketchup. She calls the police. The police show up, and she's like, "He's pouring ketchup all over me." And he's like, "I don't know what she's talking about, but he's got ketchup on his pants."
So they know.
So I don't know. He was released from jail. He pleaded not guilty, and he has been ordered to not have any contact with the woman.
I think that's good anyways. They shouldn't be around each other.
But the interesting thing here is like they have each been arrested for battery. Both for beating each other, apparently.
For back and forth.
Yeah, so they just go back and forth.
Maybe she's like at night pouring mustard on him or something, and like she just never called in the cops on it, and he's doing ketchup.
In April, she was arrested for hitting him. Okay, like at some point, aren't you just like, you know what? Maybe we'd be better off apart.
That's what I was going to say. Here's what I think we can take from this situation. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're back and forth all the time, you're going to have to just break it off and find someone else that you work better with.
Well, somebody that's not going to waste the ketchup.
Pretty much. And you're not going to go fighting with each other every time. You're not meant to be.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I want you guys to know, after this news story, we have two options. We have Gavi Fight For Me or Ledger Warrior.
Well, I think the Fight For Me will play, but it is no way associated with what we just talked about.
We didn't mean to.
It just was supposed to play anyways.
Wow, not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on RadioU.
Wow, okay. Do you want to talk about this?
There's more to it.
I'm not surprised.
Earlier, we talked about Tracy Morgan and the news that he made from yesterday when his Bugatti in New York, he was driving, got swiped allegedly, and was just talking about such an expensive car to be driving where he was driving. And with what happened, so we talked about that earlier. But now there's more coming out that I didn't know about. But now the lady who was allegedly the one who swiped his car, she's talking about.
So by swipe, Nick, you mean side swipe, like they hit each other,
not taking it.
Yeah, and so her name is Jocelyn. She's 61 years old, and this minor crash happened in New York City yesterday. And she says that he hit her. She did not hit him, which, by the way, she's driving a CRV. He's driving a Bugatti. I would say that even if I hit him.
Even if, that's what everybody says, no matter what. You never know what really happens.
So she says she's been traumatized because he jumped out of the car and began pounding his fist on her window, screaming at her.
Screaming some not nice things.
He apparently said some very unkind things.
So he had just paid $2 million for the Bugatti, and then he was like, that was his first time driving it. It seems like it was brand new, and then the accident happened.
And I will say, maybe who knows who's at fault really? But I'll tell you this: if it's his first time driving that car, it seems like it would be easy to lose control of that car.
Sure.
Maybe not. Maybe he's an expert driver, and this lady is a clueless old woman driving her CRV, and she's from the sticks, and she's like, I ain't never been in New York before.
What's all this? She's looking around. You have no idea. I'm sure someone...
Who knows?
Someone has video of him banging on her window. So
they do?
There is video of that. He was doing that.
Oh,
but
yep, there it
there's
is.
There's a video for that, but I'm sure someone will come forward with video of like the actual accident, and that'll tell people.
I mean, I will tell you this: if someone hit my brand new $2 million car, or even if I hit them, whatever happened, I could see myself getting out and banging on a window.
Nah, I think that's a poor showing.
But do we know? Like, okay, she says banging. He could say knocking.
No, it looks like banging.
You think so?
I think it does. But again, we weren't there. You don't know. But $2 million of Bugatti, we mentioned this earlier. That's leaving your garage car if you afford one of those things. That's not a everyday travel car. If not, you got to be aware that could happen. You got to have the insurance on it.
Yeah. No. Like, no one insures those cars.
I also don't think this one, I've seen other Bugattis that I like a lot more. I'm not as much of a fan with the color scheme on this one. He should just take it back and get a new one.
It's a Veyron, Nikki. Like,
you don't get any choices with it? Like, that's what it is?
He's probably lucky that it was there at all.
$2 million is a lot.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
Now, if I was a horse, would this be free?